Imagine walking up to the security checkpoint, boarding pass in hand, excited for a trip you've been planning for months, only to be pulled out of line and told you can't fly unless you pay a surprise fee right there on the spot. For millions of travelers, that nightmare scenario becomes a very real possibility starting February 1st. We aren't just talking about a long line or a grumpy agent anymore. We are talking about a fundamental shift in how airports process us. And if you are still traveling the way you did 5 years ago, you are walking right into a trap. The rules of the game have changed overnight. For decades, we were told that a standard driver's license was enough to get us from point A to point B. But that era is officially over. The government has drawn a line in the sand, and unfortunately, the people most likely to get tripped up by this new enforcement are the ones who have been flying the longest. It's not just about ID cards either. There is a digital wall being built around some of our favorite international destinations. And if you don't have the right app on your phone before you leave your house, you won't even make it past the check-in counter. Most people think these deadlines are just suggestions or that they'll get a grace period because of their age. That is a dangerous assumption to make in 2026. I've seen seasoned travelers, the people who have been to 30 countries, get turned away at the gates because they missed one tiny and new digital requirement. Today, we are going to fix that. We are going to walk through the exact changes hitting the terminals in February so that while everyone else is panicking at the kiosk, you're breezing through to your gate with a coffee in hand. But before we get to the international hurdles, we have to talk about the domestic bombshell that's about to cost millions of travelers at least $45 before they even take off their shoes. You've heard the warnings about Real ID for years. It's been the boy who cried wolf so many times that most of us just stopped listening. But while everyone was rolling their eyes at the deadline extensions, a new policy slipped in through the back door that is catching travelers completely off guard. If you show up to the checkpoint after February 1st without that gold star in the upper right corner of your driver's license, the TSA isn't necessarily going to turn you away immediately. They're going to charge you for the inconvenience. It's being rolled out as a processing fee for manual identity verification, often using a system called Confirm ID. Think about that for a second. You've already paid for your ticket, your baggage fees, and your seat selection. Now, simply because you haven't renewed your license to the new standard, which many of us haven't done because, frankly, who wants to spend 4 hours at the DMV? You could be hit with a $45 charge just to prove you are who you say you are. This hits seniors the hardest because many of you have valid licenses that don't expire for another few years, so you naturally assume you're compliant. But look at your card right now. If it says federal limits apply or lacks that star, you are walking into a financial pothole. It's not just about the money though, it's the time. Manual verification takes significantly longer, meaning while you're arguing about a fee, your flight is boarding without you. I'm telling you this because I hate seeing good people get taken advantage of by confusing rules. I've been a travel advisor for 12 years now, and in over a decade of booking flights and untangling itineraries, I've learned exactly where the traps are hidden. I absolutely love my job, but truthfully, it's my senior travelers who make it worth it. You guys have the best stories, the best sense of humor when things go wrong, and frankly, you appreciate the journey more than anyone else. I've had clients tell me stories about backpacking Europe in the 70s that would make a rock star blush, and I want to make sure you keep making those memories without the stress. That's why I started this channel, to help you navigate these changes so you can fly with the same confidence you had 20 years ago. I'd actually love to hear from you. What was the first international trip you ever took? Drop a comment below and tell me where you went. I see all of them and I'd love to know where your travel story began. But listen, while domestic ID fees are annoying, they are nothing compared to the digital wall that has just gone up across the Atlantic. If you are planning a trip to the UK or Europe this year, the rules haven't just changed. They've been completely rewritten, and this next update is critical. If you manage to clear TSA without paying extra fees, don't get too comfortable, because the Atlantic Ocean isn't the only thing separating us from London anymore. There is a new invisible wall around the United Kingdom, and unlike a physical border, you won't see this one until the airline agent scans your passport and shakes their head. For generations, US citizens could just hop on a plane to Heathrow with nothing but a valid passport. That privilege has effectively ended with the full rollout of the Electronic Travel Authorization, or ETA. This is where my clients often get confused. They look for a visa stamp or a paper document in the mail, but this system is entirely ghost-like. It lives in the cloud, digitally linked to your specific passport number. You have to apply via an app before you even pack your bags, and it costs £16 or about $20. Now, $20 isn't going to break the bank, but the timing will break your trip. If you show up to the airport on travel day without this digital approval already in the system, the airline is legally required to deny you boarding right here in the US. You won't even get to plead your case to a British officer. You'll be stopped at check-in. And please, be careful. There are copycat websites designed to look like the official government portal that charge 10 times the price. Stick to the official gov.uk app. But if you think filling out a digital form is intrusive, wait until you land in mainland Europe. The romantic idea of the passport stamp, that little ink souvenir we all love collecting in our booklets, is being erased from history. We are currently in the messy transition phase of the new entry-exit system, or EASE, and for many of you, this will be your first time encountering a contactless border. Instead of a friendly or grumpy officer stamping your book, you are going to be funneled toward a row of automated kiosks that look a lot like ATM machines. This causes a lot of anxiety for travelers over 60 because the machines feel impersonal and rush you. But here is the cold, hard reality. You cannot opt out. These kiosks require a high-definition facial scan and 4 of your fingerprints. It sounds sci-fi, but it's the new standard for entering the Schengen zone. The biggest mistake I see seniors make here is trying to keep their accessories on because the machine will reject you if you are wearing glasses, a hat, or even a scarf that covers too much of your neck. You have to strip your face bare for the camera. It's jarring, and it feels aggressive, but it is actually designed to track exactly how long you stay in Europe to the day. However, while the robots are busy scanning your face, there is a much older low-tech rule that airports promise to get rid of, only to bring it back with a vengeance. And this one is going to force you to throw away your expensive toiletries. Now, let's talk about the most frustrating bait and switch in modern travel. For the last 2 years, airport authorities, especially in the UK and Europe, have been bragging about their fancy new C3 scanners. We were promised a golden age where we could leave our laptops in our bags and, crucially, carry liquids larger than 3 ounces. The 100 milliliters rule is dead, they shouted. So, travelers started packing full-size shampoos and expensive lotions, thinking the dark days of tiny plastic baggies were over. But here is the lie. Almost as soon as they rolled this out, they hit the undo button. Due to technical glitches and government indecision, many major airports, including hubs like London City and several across the EU, have abruptly reintroduced the 100 milliliters limit after telling everyone it was safe. It is a total trap. I have watched passengers arguing with security agents, pointing to news articles on their phones saying the ban was lifted, while the agent just points to the trash can. Do not fall for the headlines until every single airport in the world is on the same page. Pretend it is 2006, keep your liquids small and separated. If you trust the new rules, you are going to end up throwing $50 worth of skincare into a bin while 100 people wait behind you. And speaking of waiting, the airlines have finally declared war on the people who try to skip the line. We all know them, the gate lice. These are the folks who hover around the boarding desk 30 minutes before their zone is called, blocking the path for everyone else. For years, gate agents were too busy or too polite to send them back, so cutting the line became a bad habit for impatient flyers. Well, American Airlines has had enough, and they are rolling out a piece of technology that is going to humiliate anyone who tries to sneak on early. They have updated their boarding scanners with an audible rejection feature. If you try to scan your boarding pass before your specific group number is called, the machine makes a loud, distinctive error sound. It doesn't just quietly deny you. It alerts the agent and everyone standing nearby that you are breaking the rules. The agent will then publicly direct you to step aside and wait while everyone else watches you do the walk of shame to the back of the line. It is awkward, it is embarrassing, and other airlines are watching closely to see if they should adopt it too. The days of sneaking into Group 1 are over. Sit down, wait for your turn, and save yourself the redness in your face. Because truthfully, getting on the plane first doesn't matter if you don't know the defense plan for when you land. But getting through boarding is only half the battle, because once you're actually on that plane, there's a silent revolution happening that's making flights more uncomfortable and more expensive for anyone who didn't read the fine print. Airlines have spent the last 3 years redesigning the entire cabin experience. And I'm not talking about better entertainment systems or comfier seats. I'm talking about a systematic removal of everything that used to be included in the price of your ticket. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to land at your destination wondering how a simple flight ended up costing twice what you budgeted. Let's start with something that sounds almost too petty to be true. There was a time when flight attendants would walk the aisles with a cart, offering complimentary beverages to everyone on board. Coffee, juice, soda, water, it was just part of the service. That's disappearing on more and more routes, especially shorter domestic flights. Budget carriers started the trend, but now the legacy airlines are testing it on specific routes to see how much pushback they get. If you want a bottle of water on some flights now, you're paying $3 to $5 for something that costs the airline about 30 cents. Here's why this matters more for seniors. Many of you are on medications that require you to stay hydrated, especially during flights where the cabin air is incredibly dry. You can't bring a full water bottle through security anymore because of the liquid restrictions we just talked about. So you're stuck either buying overpriced water at the gate or going without. My advice: bring an empty reusable water bottle and fill it at a fountain after you clear security. Every airport has them now, usually near the restrooms. It's a small thing, but it saves you money and keeps you healthier during the flight. But water is just the beginning. The real money grab is happening with carry-on bags, and this is where I see the most confusion and frustration from travelers who haven't flown in a few years. You used to be able to bring one carry-on suitcase and one personal item, like a purse or a backpack, on every flight at no extra charge. That standard is crumbling. Several airlines now charge for any bag that goes in the overhead bin, even on domestic flights. We're talking $25 to $60 each way per bag. The trap is in how they define a personal item. It has to fit under the seat in front of you, and the sizing requirements have gotten stricter. I've watched gate agents pull out measuring boxes and force passengers to check bags that are half an inch too tall, then charge them the fee right there at the gate. And here's the cruelest part. The fee at the gate is higher than if you had paid for it when you booked the ticket. They're essentially punishing you for not reading their updated baggage policy, and it's working. Airlines are making billions from baggage fees alone. If you're traveling with anything beyond a small backpack or purse, check the airline's website before you get to the airport. Know the exact dimensions they allow for a personal item and for a carry-on. Measure your bag. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I've had clients miss flights because they got stuck in a 30-minute argument about a bag that was 2 inches over the limit. Don't let that be you. And if you have any kind of medical equipment, a CPAP machine, portable oxygen, anything like that, make sure you have documentation. Medical devices are supposed to be exempt from these fees, but you'll need to prove it. Now let's talk about something that affects every single person on a plane, but almost nobody notices until it's too late. The shrinking seat. Over the past decade, airlines have been quietly reducing legroom and seat width to cram more passengers into the same aircraft. The average seat pitch, which is the distance from one seat to the seat in front of it, has dropped from 34 inches to as low as 28 inches on some carriers. That's 6 inches of legroom just gone. For taller travelers or anyone with knee problems, arthritis, or hip issues, this isn't just uncomfortable, it's painful. I've had clients tell me they arrived at their destination in so much pain they could barely walk off the plane. And the airlines know this. That's why they've created a whole new category of seats called Economy Plus or Extra Legroom that give you back the space they took away. But now you have to pay for it. It's not an upgrade, it's ransom. They took something that used to be standard, made the default version unbearable, and now they're selling you the old standard as a premium product. If you have any documented mobility issues, and I mean any, bad knees, a bad back, even just difficulty standing for long periods, request an aisle seat with extra legroom when you book and mention your medical need. Some airlines are required to accommodate this at no charge under disability access rules, but they don't advertise it. You have to ask specifically, and you may need a doctor's note. It's worth the effort because sitting in a cramped middle seat for 4 hours when you have sciatica is not just unpleasant, it can cause real harm. But even if you manage to get a decent seat without paying extra, there's another layer of discomfort that's been engineered into modern air travel, and this one is about control. Airlines have figured out that if they make you uncomfortable enough, you'll pay to escape the discomfort. That's why temperatures on planes seem to swing wildly between freezing and sweltering, why the air vents don't always work, and why you can't adjust your own climate anymore. It's not incompetence, it's strategy. Flight attendants have told me off the record that they're instructed to keep the cabin cooler than most passengers would prefer because it keeps people alert and reduces the chances of someone passing out or getting sick. But it also makes people more likely to buy blankets, hot drinks, or anything that provides comfort. I'm not saying there's a conspiracy to freeze passengers for profit, but I am saying the airlines are very aware that discomfort drives spending. Bring your own travel blanket, wear layers, and don't expect the airline to make you comfortable for free anymore. And while we're talking about comfort, let's address the elephant in the cabin, the elimination of meal service on flights where it used to be standard. If you're on a flight that's longer than 3 hours, you probably remember a time when you'd get a meal tray, even if the food wasn't great. Now, unless you're in business or first class, you're getting a tiny bag of pretzels or a cookie if you're lucky. Everything else is for sale, and it's not cheap. A sad sandwich costs $10. A snack box with crackers and cheese is $8. The markup is absurd, and you're a captive audience at 30,000 feet. The issue for seniors, especially those managing blood sugar or taking medications with food, is that you can't just skip eating for 5 or 6 hours. You need to plan ahead. Bring your own snacks, protein bars, nuts, fruit, anything that doesn't violate TSA rules and will keep you going. Yes, it's one more thing to remember, one more item to pack. But the alternative is either going hungry or spending a fortune on airport food that's going to upset your stomach anyway. Now, I want to shift gears and talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention. What happens when your flight gets delayed or cancelled? This is where the real stress begins, and it's also where airlines have quietly rewritten the rules in their favor. If your flight is delayed or cancelled due to weather, the airline owes you nothing. No refund, no rebooking on another carrier, no meal vouchers, no hotel. You're on your own. But here's what most people don't know. If the delay or cancellation is the airline's fault, mechanical issues, crew shortages, scheduling problems, you are entitled to compensation, and the airlines are banking on you not knowing that. The Department of Transportation has rules about this, but they're not enforced consistently, and the airlines make it incredibly difficult to claim what you're owed. They'll offer you a voucher for a future flight instead of a refund, hoping you'll take it and forget about it. They'll rebook you on a flight 2 days later and act like they're doing you a favor. But if the cancellation was their fault, you have the right to demand a full refund, not a credit. You can also ask for meal vouchers and hotel accommodations if you're stranded overnight. Here's the key: document everything. Take photos of the departure board showing the cancellation. Save the emails and text messages from the airline. Ask the gate agent directly what caused the delay and get it in writing if possible. The airline will try to stay vague because the moment they admit it was a mechanical issue or a staffing problem, they've acknowledged liability. Be polite but persistent. And if they refuse to help you at the airport, file a complaint with a DOT as soon as you get home. I've seen clients get hundreds of dollars back weeks later because they didn't let the airline bully them into accepting a bad deal. But even if your flight goes off without a hitch, there's one more financial trap waiting for you, and it's tied to something most travelers completely overlook: travel insurance. Now, I know what you're thinking. Insurance is boring, it's expensive, and you've never needed it before, so why start now? I get it, but the landscape has changed, and the risks are higher than they used to be. Medical emergencies abroad, sudden trip cancellations, lost luggage that the airline refuses to compensate. These things are happening more frequently, and the costs can be devastating. Here's the mistake I see all the time. People either skip travel insurance altogether, or they buy the cheap policy the airline offers during checkout without reading what it actually covers. Those airline-sold policies are almost always garbage. They have so many exclusions and loopholes that by the time you try to file a claim, you'll discover it doesn't cover the exact situation you're in. Pre-existing conditions: not covered. Missed connection due to a delay: not covered unless the delay was over 12 hours. Lost luggage: covered, but only up to $500, and you have to provide receipts for everything if you're going to buy travel insurance. And I strongly recommend you do for any international trip or any domestic trip that involves non-refundable deposits. Go with a third-party provider that specializes in comprehensive coverage. Look for policies that cover medical emergencies, emergency evacuation, trip cancellation for any reason, and baggage loss with realistic limits. Yes, it costs more up front, sometimes $150 to $300, depending on the trip. But when you're stuck in a hospital in Mexico and the bill is $15,000, that insurance policy is going to feel like the best money you ever spent. And speaking of money, let's talk about something that quietly drains your wallet on every international trip: foreign transaction fees and currency exchange scams. If you're using a credit card abroad that charges foreign transaction fees, you're losing 3% of every purchase. That adds up fast. A week-long trip to Europe where you spend $3,000 just cost you an extra $90 in fees that you didn't even notice because they're buried in your statement. Get a credit card that has no foreign transaction fees before you travel. Most major banks offer them now, and there's no reason to pay that tax. But here's an even sneakier trap: dynamic currency conversion. When you're paying with a card in another country, the terminal will sometimes ask if you want to pay in US dollars instead of the local currency. It sounds convenient, but it's a scam. The conversion rate they use is terrible, often 10 to 15% worse than what your bank would give you. Always choose to pay in the local currency and let your bank handle the conversion. The savings are significant. The same goes for airport currency exchange kiosks. Those places are robbery in broad daylight. The rates are so bad that you're essentially giving away money. If you need local currency, use an ATM at the airport or in the city, and make sure your bank has notified you're traveling so they don't freeze your card. One large withdrawal is better than multiple small ones because you'll pay a fee each time, and those fees add up. Now let's talk about something that affects your safety and your sanity: airport scams targeting seniors. I hate even having to bring this up, but it's real, and it's getting worse. Scammers know that older travelers are often less familiar with digital systems, more trusting, and more likely to be carrying valuables, and they're taking advantage of that in airports all over the world. The most common scam right now is the fake helpful airport employee. Here's how it works. You're standing at a kiosk trying to print your boarding pass or check your bag, and someone in an official-looking vest approaches you offering to help. They seem friendly, knowledgeable, and they quickly get your transaction done. Then they ask for a tip, and when you pull out your wallet, they've seen where you keep your cash and cards. Later, in the chaos of security or boarding, your wallet gets pickpocketed, or even worse, they use the information from your boarding pass, your name, your flight number to access your frequent flyer account, or steal your identity. Real airport employees will have official badges with their photo and name. They will never ask for tips. If someone approaches you offering help, politely decline and go to the airline's official desk instead. It takes a little longer, but it's worth it for your peace of mind and your security. And never ever leave your belongings unattended, even for a second. I've seen travelers lose laptops, passports, and medication because they set their bag down to tie a shoe or grab a napkin. Here's another scam that's spreading: fake Wi-Fi networks. You're sitting at the gate waiting to board, and you see a network called Airport Free Wi-Fi or something similar. You connect, enter some personal information to log in, and congratulations, you just gave hackers access to everything on your phone. Always verify the official Wi-Fi network name with airport signage or staff. And if a network asks for more than just an email address or a simple agree to terms click, don't use it. Use your phone's data plan instead, or wait until you're on the plane if they offer Wi-Fi. But let's say you've navigated all the scams, made it through security, and you're finally settled in your seat ready for takeoff. There's still one more thing that can derail your trip, and it's something most people don't even think about until it's too late. Jet lag and how it hits older bodies harder. I'm not just talking about feeling tired. I'm talking about confusion, disorientation, digestive issues, and even increased risk of falls and accidents because your internal clock is completely scrambled. The standard advice is to adjust to the new time zone as quickly as possible. Stay awake if it's daytime, go to sleep if it's nighttime. But that's easier said than done when your body is screaming at you that it's 3 in the morning and you're trying to order lunch. What actually works, based on both research and feedback from my most experienced travelers, is starting the adjustment before you even leave home. If you're flying east, go to bed an hour earlier for a few days before your trip. If you're flying west, stay up an hour later. It sounds simple, but it genuinely helps. Once you're on the plane, set your watch to the destination time zone immediately. Eat and sleep according to that schedule, even if it feels weird. Drink a lot of water. Avoid alcohol. I know, but alcohol makes jet lag worse. And move around the cabin every couple of hours to keep your circulation going. When you land, get outside in natural sunlight as soon as possible. Light exposure is the fastest way to reset your internal clock. If you arrive in the morning, fight the urge to nap. Push through until at least early evening local time. Then get a full night's sleep. Your body will thank you. And while we're on the subject of your body, let's talk about something nobody wants to discuss but everybody needs to hear. Deep vein thrombosis, or DVT. This is a blood clot that forms in your legs during long flights, and it's more common in older travelers, especially those who are on certain medications, have circulation issues, or sit still for hours at a time. If that clot breaks loose and travels to your lungs, it can be fatal. This isn't me trying to scare you. This is me trying to keep you alive. The prevention is straightforward. Move. Get up and walk the aisle every hour if you can. If you can't get up, do ankle circles and calf stretches in your seat. Wear compression socks. Yes, they're tight and annoying, but they work by improving blood flow in your legs. Stay hydrated because dehydration thickens your blood and increases clot risk. And if you have a history of clots or you're on blood thinners, talk to your doctor before you fly. They may recommend an aspirin or other preventive measures. I've had clients who ignored this advice because they didn't want to be that person getting up during the flight and bothering their seatmates. Don't fall into that trap. Your health is more important than someone else's minor inconvenience. If you're in a window seat and you need to get up, just do it. You don't owe anyone an explanation. But if you want to be polite, a simple excuse me works just fine. Now, here's something that ties all of this together. The importance of having a backup plan for literally everything. Your flight gets cancelled. Have the number for the airline's customer service saved in your phone and be ready to call while you're also standing in the rebooking line. Your luggage gets lost. Have a change of clothes and your essential medications in your carry-on. Your credit card gets declined in a foreign country. Have a second card from a different bank as a backup. Your phone dies and you can't access your digital boarding pass. Have a screenshot saved or know where the airline desk is to get a paper copy. Experienced travelers know that something will go wrong. It's just a question of what and when. The difference between a minor inconvenience and a trip-ruining disaster is whether you planned for it. I keep a digital folder on my phone with copies of my passport, my prescriptions, my travel insurance policy, my emergency contacts, and my credit card customer service numbers. If my phone gets stolen, I have the same folder in my email. It takes 10 minutes to set up and it's saved me more times than I can count. Which brings me to one final thing I need you to understand. The airline industry is not designed with your best interests in mind anymore. It's designed to extract maximum profit while providing minimum service. And the only way to fight back is with knowledge and preparation. Every fee they charge, every rule they change, every piece of technology they introduce, it's all calculated to benefit them, not you. That doesn't mean you can't travel, it just means you have to be smarter about it. The good news is that you're already ahead of the game. You know about the Real ID fee. You know about the UK digital war. You know about the seat scams, the baggage traps, the foreign transaction fees, and the jet lag strategies. You know how to protect your health, your money, and your sanity from an industry that's betting you'll stay confused and compliant. But you're not going to do that because you're informed, and information is the most powerful tool any traveler can carry. Listen, I know this feels like a lot. Between the face scans, the hidden fees, and the confusing liquid rules, it can feel like the golden age of travel is behind us. But I promise you it's not. It's just different. The destination, that cafe in Paris, that cruise in the Caribbean, or that reunion with your grandkids, is still worth every single hurdle. The secret isn't to stop traveling. The secret is to travel smarter than the person sitting next to you. You now know more than 90% of the people walking into the airport tomorrow. You know about the $45 surprise, the invisible UK war, and the walk of shame at the gate. You are prepared. But rules change fast, and I don't want you to miss the next update. If you found this helpful, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now. It's free, and it's the best way to make sure you never get caught off guard at the border. I'm the Terminal Traveler, helping you fly with confidence. Safe travels, and I'll see you in the next video.